Hello there, I want to share with you my visual notes. I hand wrote, I passed the bar exam on mine. So basically, these are my tort notes, and what's inside are essay strategies that give mental strategies for how to approach the actual writing process, how to look at the inferences and the way to argue. There's the issue checklist for torts, and I put numbers on them and different mnemonics. There's a memorization list, and here is the intentional torts. And so basically what I'm doing is putting in color, big words, and the way that I organize the information is so that way it's easy to remember. And for teaching concepts such as a volitional movement, a lot of people in their analysis don't realize that they have to also put the sub-element, which is a movement by the actor or some part of his body. So I put this visual element here to show actual physical movement and explain in an example that an act is not, driving the car, but rather moving your arms and legs, setting the car in motion. And I explain what a volitional act is not. And I put little pictures in there to illustrate what it is not. So these are how I organize all of my notes, put it in color and spaces, and put on each page just a few core ideas at a time. So when you're looking at it, you're not overwhelming yourself with black and white and all these letters, and to really explain abstract concepts in a simple way. So let's just say for causation right here, we're looking at causation, right? And here in intentional torts, we're looking at that the intentional wrongdoer is liable for the direct and indirect consequences. Well, what does that mean in the abstract, right? So I illustrate the act is swinging your arm with the axe in your hand to knock down the tree, right? That's a direct consequence. The direct consequence is the tree falls down and dies, right? Based on the act. Here we have a force, right? The tree that was knocked down here lands in the car and crushes it. And so now you see that the defendant is liable for the direct consequences of their actions as well as the indirect consequences of their actions, whether it be by force. So we're looking at organizational structure, explaining abstract concepts in visual way, how to, when you're closing your eyes on exam day and you're wondering, all right, how do I put assault, right? We're going to illustrate this core concepts as well as the sub elements, so that way it makes your analysis much, much easier for you to break down. So I like to use funny images, things from pop culture, graphs, visuals, movie references. Remember, the Stephen King movie, I can't remember what it's called because I'm a little too young for it, but I just have that image in my mind. And false imprisonment, hilarious memes just to help you to remember. Remaining on the land without consent, I put a hobo camp because I have a nature trail and hobo camps live next to my nature trail. So that helps me to remember. And just to explain what everything is not, right? And, helping people to remember, what does substantial interference mean? What are some possible outcomes of that? So this is how I organize all of it. Dante's Peak, right? For necessity, right? You can remember that, okay? So I'm putting in all of these illustrations to explain, how do we remember? Here's some exam tips for fact triggers, for strict liability. And we're just sitting here making sure that you can remember everything in a simple way and also to approach it. And yes, it looks like a lot because it's 161 slides, but they are beautifully organized and illustrated with lots of tips on there, and I put a few concepts at a time so that way when you're looking at one page you're not overwhelming yourself mentally. So you can just look at fact triggers for privacy, right? And this you can just remember, because once you look at it and you have the words next to it, you close your eyes, and all of that will begin to become second nature for you. And that is how I organize information to make it fun to look at. Look, here we got invasion of privacy. Here's the levels of invasion that you can go into. And categories of third-party issues. This one here is an independent contractor. It tells you what it is, what it isn't, and what is an inherently dangerous activity. Multiple defendant issues, and that just explains who is liable for all the harm. Charts and graphs and flows and everything that you can imagine. And that is my torts outline, and I bind them all together. I print them in color on standard paper. I bind them all together, and you even have like a protective cover so you can put it in your backpack or wherever you want it. Kid friendly, spill proof.